Hi guys, I'm back once again and I have tried to fix the network at my end and I hope we have a better network connectivity now. I'm soon gonna invite our special guest again without wasting any time so that you all don't have to wait a lot and you get to hear our interesting conversation. Let me see if I'm able to connect to our special guest now. We've been very sorry that we are not able to connect. Do let me know if I'm audible or if there's any issue with the network at my end because I've been trying to fix this shortly. Okay, I'm soon gonna. We don't waste our time in our conversation and we take this forward now. Oh, okay. I think George will have to accept the request. Guys, do let me know in case I'm not audible, or if I'm audible, just you could drop a message saying I am audible. That would give us a lot of clarity and take the conversation forward. Thank you all of you for joining in to listen our conversation. Thanks, Chetan, for letting us in um, and knowing that yes, we are audible. Thank you. I'm just trying to connect and it's taking a little longer. Hi, George. Are we audible
Hi.
now?
Yeah,
Hi.
yeah, much better, much better. Yes.
Much better. Okay. I've also tried to fix at my end. I hope this works out now.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Okay. So I'm so sorry. Now, taking back from where we left, I think I already gave your introduction and we already have a lot of people listening to us. So, again, welcome once again on our Let's Talk Design. And today we'll be talking about creating timeless spaces using stones. So, we have seen the kind of work you've done. So, what are the aesthetic values do natural stone hold when it comes to making a design timeless element according to you?
So, according to me, I think, okay, so our core belief is that God is the greatest architect and nature is the greatest
Absolutely.
design to ever exist. So, in line with that, I think in terms of making any design timeless, it's about making it as what I believe is about making it as close to God's design as possible. And how do we do that? Using natural materials, right?
Right,
So whether it's
right,
wood, stone, and different types of stone. So
right.
stone, I mean, wood has its benefits. I mean, interiors it can be used, but stone has its benefits. It can be used in the exterior because it is also what do you say, weather resistant, right?
Yeah,
Types
yeah.
of stone are weather resistant. So a lot of our walls are made with natural rubble stone and things like that. So yes, I think in terms of making a design timeless, it's about getting as close to God's design as possible. That's what makes it timeless. So
Right.
and
How
doing
did
that, how do we do that? By using natural materials. Stone is one of those
Right,
materials.
right. How did you actually come up with this, motto of saying like God is the greatest architect? Like this, it's very unique, honestly, and it does
Yeah.
connect me to a lot of nature. Yes, like you
Uh-huh.
rightly said, but how? Like there must be. I'm sorry, I'm going a little off topic in the beginning, but it's too unique. I mean, I had to ask.
I mean, thank you so much for asking, but I thought it was pretty straightforward. I mean, the first day I joined architecture,
Yeah.
my architecture college, not the first day, let us say the first month, and as I just explored the different types of buildings, and I questioned myself as to what looks good about it, right? What looks good about why does something make you say, "Oh wow, this looks good," and what
Yeah.
what what did something make me say, "Oh, okay, this is okay." you know.
Oh,
So, I
yeah.
mean, I think, and questioning that, I felt the reason why we find things good looking is, I personally, for me, nature was the best looking. And I realized, oh, this
Right.
is pretty simple. It's always, it's in front of us. Plants have been with us, and I've grown up, I think, in around nature, and I think that helped a lot. But I think for me,
Okay.
it was pretty simple that way. That yeah, God's design is the greatest design, and if we can get closest to that, that would be the best. Yeah, and that is
All
how did
right.
I get there? I think by looking at a lot of images, looking at a lot of buildings that inspired me, and thinking, what is it that inspires me about it? What is different about it? Yeah.
Lovely. That's very unique, I must say. Very unique. Could you
Thank you.
also give us some examples of how to create an impression of timelessness using natural stones as design elements, especially for public spaces versus a private space?
So public spaces, would you mean basically institutional spaces?
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, in both cases, using stone, for example, one of the what I have done, I mean, I've
Mm-hmm.
done resorts and I've done residences. I've
Mm-hmm.
designed resorts, I've done designed residences, I've also designed clubs, right?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
in all of these places, what I've done is I have used stone on the walls, on the floors,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, on walls and floors. That's mostly where I've used it on
Right.
basically. So how do you create it? I think it depends on the theme, or on the
Okay.
what do you say, on the experience that you're trying to create for the user, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there is no, in design there is no really right and wrong, but can you basically achieve the objective that you set out to do in achieving that experience for the user? I think
Right.
that's the key
Right.
question. So, for example, I'll just give you a quick example so that it's.
Right.
So
Right.
suppose I designed a resort in Hampi, right?
Okay.
So Hampi, I
Okay.
don't know if you're aware, it was the capital of Vijayanagara Empire,
Right.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that we do with our design is we ensure that the design feels like it was always there. I mean, it should not be plonked there by us. I mean, not a I mean, steel and glass works very well in Europe, but I believe that in
Right.
Indian climatic conditions and things like that, we already
It's
have
very
a rich
different.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
already have a rich history where we've used it for climatological reasons, and it's worked for us,
Yeah.
right? So, but how we did it in Hampi, for example, is geometric patterns on the floor, in the flooring,
Oh, that's
right?
nice.
With a combination
Mm-hmm.
of stone, geometric patterns.
Okay.
But
Okay.
in that same vein, I've used stone in Wayanad, right? Wayanad, what I wanted to create was a tropical mountain retreat, because Wayanad is
Okay.
mountainous, and
Okay.
historically, even the tribals there have used stone. So,
Okay.
what we did there is basically we used very organic shaped sort of stone with an edging of black oxide, right?
Oh, that's
So
different. So
yeah, so
that
one
black
would be very
oxide is very
geometric
different
shape, one is
stone.
very organic. So it depends on
Okay.
what is the experience you're trying to achieve, right? And
Okay. Okay.
that's probably how you do it. Yeah.
And how you do it in a private space? I mean, is there a different way of taking it forward, or it's quite similar?
No, like I said, it's like in Wayanad, what I did is a private residence. I
Okay.
mean, it was a residence. So that's
Okay.
how I used it. I mean, how do I use it? I mean, I think it depends on where you want to use that material. Um,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and I think it's, yeah, like I said, it's the experience you want to achieve. I mean, it is not that
Right.
you cannot use geometric shapes in a house, or it's not that
Right.
you cannot
Right.
use organic shapes in a public space. But is it a public space that you want to give that feeling of the tropical look? And is that what you want to do, or
Right.
do you want to give a royal look and a very
Correct. Yeah.
because royalty had that geometric sort of feel. So that's what I wanted to
Correct.
do in
Yeah.
Hampi. So yeah.
Yeah. And would you be able to share some old-fashioned or traditional design techniques using stone that can be reused, especially in today's architecture?
Yes, actually. So for example, I mean the simplest. I mean, I'm sure everybody has seen any any building that is above, let's say, 1,000 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, especially if stone was available abundantly near it,
Yeah.
would have basically used that stone as their basic construction material. Basic construction material in the sense to build their walls, and to
Ah,
even maybe even on their floors. So,
yeah.
so the question that you had for me was um, looking at, I mean, how do you
Old
use?
fashioned and tradi the
Old-fashioned
old
and
fashioned
traditional,
and
right?
traditional design techniques. Yeah.
Yeah, so old-fashioned and design traditional techniques are basically, I mean, basically, if you look, all old-fashioned and design techniques were done on the basis of the availability of the material close to it. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
close to the destination or close to the location where it was being built.
Right.
So
Right.
yes, I mean, we should only use those old fashioned because they would have done it in the most ecological manner, right? I mean, in the
Correct.
sense at that time they did not have the resources of taking calling your vendor and saying, okay, lorry, please come, with all the material. They had
Absolutely.
to pick it
Absolutely. Yeah.
through maybe a bullock cart, so it couldn't be more than a few kilometers away.
Mhm.
So yes, I think every design technique for me personally, it's about going back to history, studying it. Yes,
Right.
and as humans, I mean, I think it's about ensuring that I mean, we don't need to go recreate the wheel. I mean, it's about if we have the wheel is already there, maybe it's a wooden wheel, maybe we can think about putting
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
rubberizing that wheel, right? So yes,
Correct.
I take that old design. I mean, we should take that old design technique, figure out, okay, there may be some issues with it, right? Like maybe the what, right? So you
Right.
could use maybe waterproofing grout in between those stones
Oh,
because
that's interesting. Yeah.
you have what do you say, modern, or rather, yeah, modern solutions to those problems, to those old problems
Correct.
that you might have had. Yeah.
Correct. Do you think you still use all of those old techniques, or you would like to use the current techniques that are available in the 21st century?
Oh,
Am I audible? George, we lost you. Am I audible?
I'm so sorry. It's getting broken up again.
Okay. Could you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Could you
Yeah.
repeat that,
So I'm
please?
saying I'm saying that do you still use some of the old techniques, or would you like to go ahead with the 21st century techniques that are there in today's time?
I think I think the answer is not either or, but can we do the best of both?
Okay.
Right? Can we
Right.
take the best of those old techniques and those old uh, they've also, I mean, they also reached there after trying experimenting trials and
Correct.
getting it better, and they reached there like that. And our
Correct.
latest techniques, right? Our latest techniques are also great. I mean, we want to try out new things as humans. If we don't stop innovating, there's no point.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you don't
Absolutely.
innovate,
And
there's no
as
point.
designers, also as designers,
Exactly.
you want to experiment almost every day and with every project. So I totally get
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, it is about, it's not an either or question, but a combination, right? Can we take the best of
Correct.
that and the best of this and put it together and get
Correct.
the best? That would be for
Correct.
me one of the ways to, go
Right.
about it.
Right. What are your thoughts on introducing complex patterns and geometries, like you were mentioning, for exterior design elements in homes, especially? If you could share some of your favorite picks.
Broken up again. I'm so sorry. Could you repeat that question? It's good.
What are your thoughts on introducing some complex patterns or geometrics for exterior design elements in a house? If you could just
Uh,
give some of your favorite picks on that.
Favorite. Okay. So favorite pick. So what are my thoughts? Firstly, what are my thoughts? My thoughts are basically, again, it really depends on the experience you're trying to create. Are you trying to
Mm-hmm.
create something that is more? I mean, so depending on which style, right? I mean, so suppose, for example, Hampi, like I said, Hampi, Vijayanagara Empire,
Yeah.
or if
Yeah.
yeah. So if for example, like that, yes, a geometric pattern is great. I mean, it really shows
Right.
a very royal and very heritage sort of feel. It has that, right? Uh,
Right.
uh,
Right.
so that is what my belief is on that. That it depends. If the answer is really, it depends on what is the experience you want to create for your user. But one of the examples, one of my favorite picks is actually Jeffrey Baba's house in Sri Lanka, Lunuganga.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Jeffrey Baba was a Sri Lankan architect. I'm sure you're aware, but one of the greats, basically. So, how
Right.
he's basically done these very simple square cut. granite,
Mm-hmm.
and he's made it almost, I mean, and then he's left one identical square next to it with just lawn.
Oh, that's
And then
interesting.
again a square cut granite. So it looks like a big chessboard right outside his
Right,
office. But
right,
with stone
right,
grass, stone grass, stone grass, that's the way it
right,
goes. And that
right.
was something very simple to me, geometric, very geometric, yeah, but very
Sure.
simple. And
Yeah,
I that there it had that simplicity to it. It had that sort of planned feel to it. It had that a little bit of let us say arty feel, right? You when you went there,
absolutely.
and
I get that. Yeah.
yeah, and it had nature in its original form. So I like that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go a little off the topic again. You mentioned couple of stones. So what is that go-to stone that you guys would like to pick up whenever you want to, do any project? I think, George, we lost you again. Are we audible? George, I think we lost you again. Could you patch in again? I'm so sorry, guys. I think there's a network issue once again. I will have to patch George in again. I think this was one of the most interesting questions that we were about to ask. One of his go-to stones that he likes and he would like to incorporate in almost all his projects. But never mind, we are going to ask him again. And I'm sure you'll all get to know the answer once again soon. Yes. Hi, John. Yes. Okay.
Hi, I'm
So,
so sorry. I don't know
no
what
problem.
is the reason we are experiencing this, but yeah.
No
Yeah.
problem. That's okay. So I was actually asking an off-the-topic question again. We spoke about
Yeah.
so many stones, and
Right.
you gave us some of the names which were quite unique to us. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would be your go-to stone that you would like to incorporate in almost all your projects, or something that is related to you, like your the audience who's listening to you, they would like to know, okay, early architects, George, we want to know what's your stone like.
So, actually speaking, I have not used I've hardly used the same stone more than once. I basically
Oh,
use the
wow.
stone that is most locally available.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
which is
if
that
I go to,
stone?
uh,
Which is
pardon
that
me.
one stone that you
So
use?
basically, I've used simple Sadrali when it was close to northern Karnataka. I've used
Okay.
basically in Kerala you get a black granite called steel gray. So which is
Okay.
again locally available. So
Okay.
these are the sort of
Okay.
things that I keep
Okay.
doing, and yeah, I actually go to the local stone. What do you say? The
Vendors.
stone vendors and see what is
Yeah.
locally available to them, and try to use that in the design.
Ah,
I mean, yes.
interesting. I think
And
this is also a very interesting approach.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, if you take the colors from nature, I mean, that is not only with stone. I mean, even with
Right.
wood, even with a let us say, okay, the texture of my wall, I either do white or I take
Oh,
borrow the color from nature. So
from the
so
nature.
it's the white is fairly I think universal in terms of being
Right.
closest
Right.
to yeah.
Right. No, this is good. I think it's again very unique answer. Like I said, like your brand is quite unique. Yes. So
Thank you.
moving forward, how have you used or seen one or more natural stones together being used in a particular space?
How have I seen more? So, like I said, the geometric patterns that we did
Yeah.
in Hampi, we
Yeah.
basically combined a Kota stone with
Okay.
Sadra granite,
Okay.
right? And
Okay.
created basically a sort of geometric pattern which had this sort of combination in between. So,
Okay.
so I think yeah, this. I mean, you can use it. There's a million ways you can do this. So
Do
there's
you think the technique or the application while using two to three different kind of stone varies or it's quite similar?
the technique.
Yeah.
The technique is, I would feel that generally it is more or less similar. I mean, because at the
Okay.
end of the day,
Okay.
it has similar
Okay.
characteristics.
Okay.
I've also used sandstone and slate together.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the difference was in the thickness of the slab that I got,
Okay.
because of which the underflow had to be prepared slightly differently.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, more or
Okay.
less, it's the similar
Similar application and technique. Okay.
application. Yeah.
And how do you take textures and color tones into consideration when using the stones for your spaces?
So, like I said, basically, I go to nature. So, in nature,
Everything
if
on
I
nature.
see, yeah, I go
Everything is
back to
nature
nature. So,
oriented.
yes, exactly. So, if I see in nature that there is, so recently, basically, in one of my projects, there was a nice contrast in the granite that was available locally, which was, there was a nice
Okay.
clear black with a white streak in going on it. So, I
Interesting.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, so those are things I go back to nature. I mean, if naturally that is available, then do it,
Right.
because it will look beautiful. God designed it that way. I mean, yeah, you know, it's
Right.
that's the way I
So,
believe.
one question relating to nature. What are your thoughts on delivering ecological conscious design using stone?
I think stone as a material is, I mean, especially if it is locally got, is automatically ecologically conscious, right? I mean, because the
Right.
energy taken to produce any other material is more than what, uh, I mean, or the detriment on producing any other material, like I mean, which are the other materials? Like any manufactured material. I don't want to put any other material down, but yeah, like any other material that is
Absolutely.
there. I mean, the energy taken to really produce it is what is majorly different between a stone versus any other, let us say, solid block
Right.
or whatever it is. Yes.
Right.
So, and
Right.
because of which, especially if you get it locally sourced, I mean, for me, that is the basics of ecologically conscious design.
Great. And what would be one quick tip for our audience in case they are using natural stone in their space?
I mean, I think I probably sound like a broken record, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I think two things. One, go to nature for your
Yeah.
inspiration. I mean, if there's a combination of black and yellow stone, or if
Yeah.
laterite stone is what is available in nature, please use laterite stone. In the nature
Okay.
in the sense, I mean to say, in the location around you, right?
Correct.
Where,
Yeah. Yeah.
like location specific, not yeah, yeah.
Correct.
So, and so whatever is available locally, try to use that, because that will, I mean, automatically it looks beautiful. Because God, I mean, the way I look at it, I mean, God, or if you like to call it nature, I mean, over millions of years has put that sort of stone
Yeah.
in that place, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean, in nature, everything has a reason. I mean, there's nature doesn't do anything without reasoning. I mean, everything that is
Right.
there has a reason and looks most beautiful. Actually, the most
Right.
beautiful, like you were asking me another question when we first began, why God is the greatest architect? Because
Yes.
and recently I saw a picture which there was one in which there was a building. I mean, it was a beautiful landscape, and then one there was a building in it, and one there was no building in it, and the one without
Oh,
building in it looked beautiful, right?
okay. Okay.
So I mean, coming back to that, so basically, no matter what I think we humans do, I mean, if we can keep it closest to nature, it is
Correct.
the best. So go to nature. That's your inspiration. Second tip that I would like to give is, okay, and then go to nature. That's your inspiration, is basically on the color combinations, on the texture and things like that. And the second one is basically on the design of, like you were saying, whether it would be geometric or
Yeah.
organic, or
Right.
what is the sort of pattern you want. That depends on the experience you want to create within that space,
Right. Right.
right? Do you want to
Right.
create a very do you want to create a formal sort of that sort of an experience, or do you want to create a playful and a relaxed sort of experience? And
Correct.
depending on the function that you have, use that stone. I mean, use naturally available stone either which way, in that manner,
Right, right.
right?
Totally agree to what you said. I believe you totally are one firm who works sustainably, ecologically towards the nature. You guys talk
Thank
nature,
you.
you guys work nature. Totally related. All
Thank
dots
you.
connected. Yes.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you.
lovely having a chat with you, though I know the network did not Actually, it's
Yeah.
not in our favor, but nevertheless, before we log off, there's a question for you. Which waterproofing grout would you suggest?
There are companies like Laticrete, and also, I mean, if it is not too, I mean, epoxy is another material that you can use. But
Right,
if it is not
right.
too, what do you say? If it depends on how much waterproofing you require, right? I mean, suppose,
Correct.
hello, yeah. So I mean, you can go from
Yeah,
anywhere as
yeah.
simple is just regular cement grout in a 1 is to
Right,
3 mix, 1 is to 4 mix, right up to, I mean, using compounds that are given by various brands. I mean, laticrete is one, epoxy is a material. So, yeah, depending on what you would want, I think, yeah, there is simple grout, there is grout that is given by these brands, which you, I mean, basically mix. There are chemicals that you mix with the cement itself to get you that
right,
extra little bit of extra waterproofing, and then there is epoxy grouting, which will help you probably keep it out well.
right, right. I hope Dave, he has answered your question very well. Yes, I believe this was one really interesting question that we had. Yeah, but thank you, John. It was a very nice conversation, a very different one, talking more
Thank you.
about ecological and sustainable conscious design. It was really nice getting to know all of these insights from you, especially from someone down south, because the entire architectural span out there is very different. Thank you for giving us all of these insights. And yes, thanks once again,
Thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't get your name. I'm so sorry.
Sana. Sana.
Sana. Thank you, Sana. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for
Thanks.
those wonderful
Thanks.
questions. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you. Bye. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining us once again.